everyone, good afternoon. This is Christine May Magbanwa Narciso. Together with my partner, Ms. Narciso-Obina, we will be discussing the topic in the Unit 5. So before we start our discussion, we prepare a short videos for you guys so that you will be able to know what would be the topic that we will be discussing today. Alright, so now, after you've watched the video, do you have any insight that what would be our topic for today? Yes, any idea? Alright, very good. Thank you. You're correct. So our topic for today is all about the teacher as an organizational leader. So our objectives for today is first, to describe leadership and other related concepts. Second, compare and contrast various types and models of leadership. And the last one is to value the leaders as accountable to the community and other stakeholders of education. So before we'll start defining what leadership is, I have a question for you guys. So as a future educator, what do you think will be your role in the school and in the society where you belong? Right, thank you for your idea. That's correct. Teachers play a vital role in ensuring the success of the implementation of the educational reforms in the country. So leadership is a complex process by which a person influences others to accomplish a mission, tasks, or objectives, and directs the organization in a way that makes it more cohesive and coherent. So leadership is the ability of an executive to direct, guide, and influence the behavior and works of others in order to achieve the specific goals in a given situation. Leaders must create future visions and inspire organizational members to achieve those visions. So organizational leadership refers to the ability of an individual or group of individuals effectively. So first, to guide, influence, and manage a team or organization towards the achievement of its goals and objectives. Second, it involves getting clear vision, establishing a strong culture, and the third one, empowering team members to harness their potential for improved productivity and results. And the fourth one, organizational leaders are skilled in decision-making, communication, problem-solving, and adaptability to drive positive change within the organization. So in the context of education, we can define as organizational leadership as the ability of the principals, school administrators, department heads to guide and influence, of course, the educational institution towards achievements of its goals and objectives. Say for example, a school principal demonstrates a good organizational leadership by articulating clear vision for the school that prioritizes academic excellence in positivity and strong sense of community through the way the principal or the school administrator is able to demonstrate good organizational leadership. As we know, that leadership is the one who leads and influences others. The reason why leadership is important is that leadership is a process of influencing others to achieve certain objectives. Leadership also involves influencing the activities of an individual or group in efforts towards reaching a goal in a given situation. As the main role of the leader is to guide, to support, motivate, and inspire, or to tell a command. That is why leaders needs to be hands-on. So in this modern world that is full of competition, there is a need for a leader to push everyone to keep going and to inspire everyone to do what is the best for their organization. As without this someone, I am referring to the leader, who will tell the subordinates to awaken the senses, then there is a possibility that their members are not doing their part. And that is the significance of having a leader. So how leaders use powers to achieve goals? Leaders influence others to achieve goals through the use of power as the ability to control resources. To influence is it is important decision and to get the other people through the things. So, if you want to be an effective leader, you must be able to use power in an intelligent and sensitive manner. Please take note, guys, because you will become also a future leader. So in using the power, you need to remember that you need to influence. Don't act like a bossy. You, the leader, needs to use the power intelligently and sensitive manner. Not because you have the power, it doesn't mean that all the time you should always be the one who will have the decision. It doesn't mean that if you are the leader, then you are perfect, that you are already mastered in that. Because no one is perfect and all of us makes mistakes. That is why you need also to hear their voices or their side as your member. So now, let's go on to the 11 principles of leadership. First, know yourself and seek self-improvement. So in order to know yourself, you have to understand, know, and do attributes. Seeking self-improvement means continually strengthening your attributes. Second, be technically proficient. So as a leader, you must know your job and have a solid familiarity with your employee's job. The third one, seek responsibility and take responsibility for your action. Analyze the situation, take corrective action, and move to the next question. The fourth one, make sound and timely decision. Use good problem solving, decision making, and planning tools. And the fifth one, set the example. You as a leader, you need to be a good role model. They must not only hear what they are expected to do, but also to see. The sixth one is that know your people and look out for their well-being. So know human nature and the importance of sincerity caring for your workers. And the seventh one is that keep your people informed. As a leader, you need to know how to communicate with your subordinates. The eighth one is that develop a sense of responsibility in your people. So you need to develop good character traits within your people that will help them carry out their professional responsibility. And the ninth one ensures that tasks are understood, supervised, and accomplished, as communication is the key to this responsibility. And the 10th one is that train your people as a team. Although many so-called leaders call their organization, department, section, they are not really teams. They are just a group of people doing their job. 11th, or the last one, is that use the full capabilities of your organization. By developing a team spirit, you will be able to employ your organization, department, section to its fullest capabilities. So now let's go on to the 4 factors of leadership. We have followers, leaders, communication, and situation. Let's tackle it one by one. First, we have followers. So followers are the subordinates of a head. So leader must know his people. And the second one is leader. Leader must know his people. The fundamental starting point is having a good understanding of human nature, such as needs, emotions, and motivation. And the third one is communication. Communication maintains good relationship between leader and followers, as well as shows the leader efficiency. As a head, lead through two-way communication. And the last one, we have situation. The situation normally has a greater effect on a leader's action than his or her traits. This is because while traits may have an impressive stability over a period of time, and they have little consistency across situations. So now, let's go on to the 4 leadership style. So first, we have autocratic leadership style. So it is a leader who do decision by making themselves. It is a kind of leader that is characterized by making decision by themselves. They tend to have the full control over the decision making, and often that kind of leadership enforces strict rules and policies. Example, a school principal who makes all the decisions regarding to the school policies and procedures without consulting the teachers, parents, school governing council, and not even ask some insight from district supervisor and other officials in the higher education. So these are those leaders who demonstrate this kind of leadership. So the second one, we have consultative leadership style. So allow participation of the members of the organization by consulting them but make the decision themselves. So the final say is that the decision would still be dependent on the principal or the school administrator. An example, when the school principal consults the groups of head teachers before making the decision, just like on how to really conduct the Brigada Eskwela, monthly extracurricular activities, and other activities written in the school improvement plan or annual improvement plan. Again, the keywords right here is the final say would still be handed over by the principal. Third, the principal consults the other internal stakeholders, which may be advising the head teachers, master teachers, and other staffs. The third one, we have democratic leadership style. Allow the members to fully participate in decision making. Democratic is likewise termed as collegial leadership, guys. So this is kind of leadership in which it is characterized by leaders who involves the team members in the decision-making process, and the leaders empowers the team to contribute ideas and actively participate in the decision-making process, meaning the decision will not solely be coming from the school administrator, as the decision would be a product of a consensus among team established. An example, if the school principal works collaboratively with the staffs, school board and PTA are being told to develop policies and initiate some community extensions, the decisions are being brainstormed by the members of governing council or head teachers. So they inform the principals, whoever is the consensus of the team, that the decision will be handed over, will be undertaking. Okay? That is what we call democratic style of leadership. Remember guys, the rule of democracy is majority of all. Fourth one and the last one, we have laissez-faire or free reign. So leaders avoid responsibility and leave the members of the organization to establish their own work or to do the entire decision, okay? In other words, the principal or school administrators who just simply delegate everything to his or her subordinates. So whoever in charge of the enrollment committee is empowered to create whatsoever the process is that they would like to impose. An example, the principal would just like to be updated with the recent developments, but in terms of decision making, it is solely trust the officers, and the principal delegates almost everything and empowered the people or the team of the community of anything about the task obligate to do, and that is a form of laissez-faire leadership style. And now let's go on to the nature of administrative work. Leadership is one component of management, working with and through individuals and groups to accomplish organizational goals. So the non-leadership aspects of a manager's job are sometimes referred to as administrative work. So good leadership in schools is a practice of encouraging and enabling school-wide teaching expertise in order to achieve a strong rate of progress for all learners. So for teaching staff and future leaders in the education sector, it's important to understand what the benchmark is for good leadership in schools and how it can be used to drive lasting change. So first, we have trait approach to leadership. So the trait theory of leadership focuses on identifying different personality traits and characteristics that are linked to successful leadership across a variety of situations, and this line of research emerged as one of the earliest types of investigations into the nature of effective leadership and is tied to the great man theory of leadership. It was first proposed by Thomas Carlyle in the mid-80s. So Carlyle's theory of leadership was based on the rationale that first, certain traits produce certain patterns of behavior. Second, patterns are consistent across different situations. Third, people are born with leadership traits. Fourth, the trait approach to leadership concentrates on the idea that great leaders are born with a given abilities and not a learned ability. So according to this theory, the most effective leaders are those that are able to adapt their style to the situation and look at cues such as the type of task, the nature of the group, and other factors that might contribute to getting the job done.
Good day everyone, I am Narciso-Obina and I'm going to continue the discussion of the following. First, situation and leadership. Second, behavior and leadership. And the third is effective leadership. So first, let's have a situation and leadership. This means adapting your management style to each unique situations or task to meet the needs of the team or the team members. So in 1969, Ken Blanchard and Paul Hersey developed the situational leadership theory. This theory has its 4 styles. First style is directing. So directing consists of high directive behavior and low supportive behavior. This means that the leader provides specific directions about the goals. The leader shows and tells a person what, when, where, and how to do something. And then the leader closely monitor the person's performance in order to provide frequent feedback on themselves. The second style is coaching. It consists of a high directive behavior and high supportive behavior, meaning the leader explains why, solicits suggestions, encourage and continues to direct goal or task accomplishment, meaning the leader are the one to decide if a person has lost commitment and providing directions is not enough. So you as a leader, you have to provide support and encourage to your team or to your employee. The third style is supporting. Supporting consists of a low directive behavior and high supportive behavior, meaning the leader and the employee makes decisions together. The role of the leader is to facilitate, listen, encourage, and support. The leader support the person's efforts, listen to the suggestions, and ask a good questions to build his or her confidence and his or her competence. So the last style is delegating. It consists of a low directive behavior and a low supportive behavior. This means that the employee makes the decisions about what, how, and when. So the role of the leader is to value the person's contribution and support his or her growth. So the successful leader could look at situations with different perspective. They assess the situation and behaviors of the team members in play, after which they determine the type of leadership approach to use to get the best results. So the situational leadership is a relationship-oriented type of leadership. It bases a leader's directives on the readiness and ability of his followers. So this is why it is seen as a flexible approach. The leader does not use a single type of leadership across all his team members. So in order for it to work, the leader must have established a relationship with his team members in order to understand their state of mind when receiving directions for the task they need to complete. So now let's move on to behavior and leadership. So behavior and leadership means adopting positive leadership can motivate your team to be more effective and increase its ability to reach goals. So the behavioral leadership theory argues that the success of a leader is based on their behavior rather than their natural attributes. So the behavioral leadership theory involves observing and evaluating a leader's actions and behaviors when they are responding to a specific situations. Behavioral leadership theory believes that the leaders are made and not born. Behavioral leadership theory is highly relevant in several fields. This theory promotes the idea that all leaders are capable of learning and developing through adopting beneficial behaviors and performing them in their workplace. Behavioral leadership theory also encourages leaders to be self-aware of their behavior and to recognize how it affects the productivity and morale of their team. So there are several case styles of behavioral leadership. Each one involves a different set of behaviors and may be more or less effective in certain work environments. First, we have people-oriented leaders. People-oriented leaders focus on behaviors that allow them to meet the needs of the people they interact with, including supervisors, employees, and clients. They are primarily driven by interpersonal connection and communications. So the people-oriented leaders build relationships with their team members to motivate them to perform well. The second is a task-oriented leaders. So the task-oriented leaders are primarily focused on setting goals and achieving objectives. Task-oriented leaders thrive in a well-structured environment and often show authoritative behaviors. So they are typically more focused on their team's final results rather than the day-to-day developmental process. The third one is participative leaders. So participative leaders make an effort to include their entire team in decision-making processes. They prioritize active communication, collaboration, and feedback. Participative leaders know their team's strengths and weaknesses and assign the task accordingly. This leadership style allows every team member's voice to be heard and considered. The fourth is status quo leaders. Status quo leaders make an effort to prioritize both productivity and employee satisfaction. They ensure that all tasks are finished on time, while also providing support and encouragement to their team members. Status quo leaders typically meet the needs of their team without going above or beyond expectations. The fifth one is indifferent leaders. Indifferent leaders do not prioritize interaction or communication with their team. They usually oversee progress from a distance and do not contribute to their team's daily efforts. They are primarily focused on personal success and advancement. Due to the lack of cooperation, an indifferent leadership style is widely considered the most ineffective of the behavioral leadership styles. Next is the dictatorial leaders. Dictatorial leaders often value results more than they do people. They mere pressure their team members to perform well, even during stressful or challenging periods. Dictatorial leaders are often successful in delivering high-quality results, but may experience high turnover rates due to employee dissatisfaction and burnout. Seventh one is the country club leaders. Country club leaders prioritize their team members' happiness and satisfaction level. They believe that a team that is comfortable and well provided is more likely to be successful. Team members are likely to show high levels of trust and loyalty when working with country club leaders. Some country club leaders might sacrifice productivity in exchange for providing their team's moral or workplace relationships. The eighth one is sound leaders. Sound leadership is considered the most effective type of behavioral leadership. However, it is typically difficult to practically implement. Sound leaders equally prioritize productivity and team morale. They value their team members, set achievable goals, and deliver high-quality results. They are intrinsically motivated to succeed and find satisfaction in supporting their team's progress. The ninth one is opportunistic leaders. The opportunistic leaders pick and choose different behaviors from the previous styles. They can adjust and adapt their leadership styles to fit the particular situations. They are goal-oriented and will use whatever methods are necessary to achieve their objectives. An example of opportunistic leaders are they might adopt a dictatorial persona in a weeks leading to up a major deadline and then shift to country club leadership afterward to repair their relationships with their teams. So the 10th one is the paternalistic leaders. This leadership style strives to be stern but fair, much like a father with a child. Paternalistic leaders are goal-oriented but are willing to be flexible regarding methodology. They frequently set lofty goals and reward team members that achieve them. They value their team members' individual skills and offer opportunities for them to develop professionally. Now let's move forward to the leadership effectiveness. Leadership effectiveness is the key analyst of organizational success or failure, while examining the factors that lead to organizational success. To lead a team, you need to understand leadership effectiveness, and for this, it is necessary to learn to understand and to be understood later. If we want to change a situation, we must change ourselves. To be able to change effectively, we must first change our perceptions. To relate effectively with other people, we must learn to listen, and this requires emotional control. So, listening requires having highly developed qualities of character such as patience, being open to change and criticism, and wanting to understand. It is important and effective to act from a low emotional level, give advice, and direct at the high levels. Important things for having an effective leadership we have first, personality. Successful leaders have a pleasing personality. Personality is the sum of physical, mental, and social qualities. Personality is the only characteristic of a good leader to influence the subordinates. The second one is human skills, refers to interpersonal skills. The leader must understand the feelings, emotions, and expectations of the subordinates. Such knowledge would enable the leader to develop interpersonal relationships with the subordinates, which are vital in any organizations. The third one is communication skills. Effective leaders are good communicators. Effective communication in three critical areas is the key to win trust and confidence of the subordinates, enabling employees to understand the company overall business strategy, informing the employees and sharing information with them. The fourth one is administrative leaders. Leadership should be administered as required to undertake management functions such as planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. So the fifth one is decision making. Leadership effectiveness helps leaders in effective decision making. There is a need to identify the problems. Accordingly, alternation solutions must be listed. After analyzing the cost-benefit of every alternative solution, the leaders need to select the best solution to solve the problem. The sixth one is conceptual. Leadership should be conceptual as it helps to visualize and analyze problems or situations. A top level of a leader considers a long-term perspectives. They need to handle difficult or complex situations. The seventh one is innovations. Leadership should bring in innovations in an organization. Innovation should be creative. Therefore, the leader should have an imagination to develop new ideas or new ways to handle these activities or situations. A good subordinate expects the leader to be innovative. The eighth one is initiative. The quality of leadership should be initiated as the leader should be initiated. Effective leadership can take place only when the leader is at the position to do the right things at the right time without being reminded. The decision should be taken without causing delay and inconvenience to others. Therefore, the leader should initiate the subordinates as well. The ninth one is intelligence. An intelligent leader is efficient enough to make decisions and to deal with people. There is a need to have intellectual intelligence and emotional intelligence. This would enable effective leadership to taking the right decisions not only in the interest of the organization but also in the interest of the employees. The 10th one is ethics and values. Leadership effectiveness also involves ethics and values. There shouldn't be any kind of cheating and manipulations. It is important to have honesty, integrity, compassion, and courage among the leaders. The 11th one is respect and trust. People are naturally drawn into the leaders whom they trust and respect with. Fear and control-based leadership could get some followers in the short term, but such coercive leaders will not earn the loyalty of the subordinates. To build the loyal team, a leader must be trustworthy. The 12th one is delegation. One cannot do everything. The leader needs to delegate tasks effectively. The leader needs to know each member's strengths and weaknesses and delegate responsibilities accordingly. This would make the team members feel appreciated and recognized. The 13th one is the appreciations. A leader should value each team members and makes each member feel valued. Each member of the team feels their role is important and appreciated, praised in the public and criticized in private. The last one is handling success and failures. It is very important that a great leader should know how to handle each success and failures. Celebrate the success at the same time, the leader should learn from the failures. Remember, whenever there is a success, attribute it to the entire team. When the team faces a failure, accepts responsibility for the failure. So those are the things to be remembered for an effective leadership. And that would be the end of my part. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something from it.